How are you? I want to thank all of you for turning out for this meeting. My name is Dick Dickerson. I'm currently serving as the mayor of the city of Reading. We called this meeting Mr. Murray's idea to get as many of you folks together in one spot as possible, rather than trying to answer a lot of questions independently, to talk about the issue. And you all know what the issue is, or you wouldn't be here. So my main message today that I want to deliver to you in very brief few words is that I saw 50 or 60 emails come through. Too many of them came right out and said or implied that the city, and when you talk about the city, you're talking about the city council, don't care about the young people. Despite what the rest of the issues are, the message was that we don't care about you folks. And my concern here today is to try to change that, because we do. We do care about teenagers and young adults and young people, because the old saying goes, you're the future of our community. So we do care about you. And when you have a situation like this arise, we want to work with you, see what could be done about it. So that's the message I want to deliver. Mr. Murray has gotten together some staff members who are intimately involved in the process, because there is a process to do what you folks want to do. And we're willing to help you do it, but we have to do it according to the rules, regulations, and the laws. It's as simple as that. And hopefully when you leave here today, you'll more fully understand what has to be done in order to get a venue like you're seeking today up and running. So that's all I really have to say. Anything else anybody has an immediate question directed directly at me, then I would like to have Mr. Murray take over and run the rest of the meeting. So any specific questions directed at the mayor? If not, Councilman Murray.
Thank you. If there are more out there, you can come sit on the floor in here. Why don't you come on up here, so come on up here, Bruce.
Bruce says there are too many people in the room.
Nobody cares. Well, I have several dozen emails that accuse me of being an old fogey, a city father who doesn't know anything, is totally insensitive, that I ought to give them all their money back, and a bunch of other things like that. And I want to admit to several things. One, I'm an old fogey. I have a granddaughter older than 24 years old. Second, I wear hearing aids, so I do hear what you have to say loud and clear. Third, I wear glasses, and I read all those emails. Fourth, I hate your music. Fifth, it doesn't matter if I hate your music. I got elected to office. And whether you voted for me or did not vote for me or any other member of this city council, doesn't matter. Once you're in office, you represent all of the people of the community, just not a few. I want to spend a few minutes, and we have the powers that be standing around here, discussing what happened with the Plaza, but no more than a few minutes, because what I want to do with this is go forward and see where we go from here. We used to have a situation here in the city of Reading, and I will tell you that cities don't change easily or overnight. But we used to have a situation here in the city of Reading where people would go in for a business license, they would buy a business license, they would pay first, last, and whatever month's rent to some business establishment, and then the business establishment, they would come to find out, was not zoned appropriately for their use. And so you wound up being screwed out of your money for your business license. We changed that process in direct response to people not being aware of some of the needs to conduct a business in the city of Reading. in 2002, I believe it was, Jim. Since 2002, we changed our practices to try to be sensitive. And the new process is if you go in to buy a business license, the business license clerks say, is the property you're considering renting zoned appropriately? And they send you over to the planning counter where you get a zoning clearance, which is part of where the problem with the Plaza began to happen. And again, I don't want to beat that thing to death, but a zoning clearance in and of itself says that the property that you're intending to rent is zoned appropriately, but it does not confer any ability to use the property. We merely have that step to keep you from buying a business license and wasting your money. And I want you to put up one of these things. Here is the one that was filled out at the counter for the Plaza. And it says right at the top, the identified use of property listed below is an allowed use within the applicable zoning district. That is a true statement. The Plaza was in the appropriately zoned district. Please note that this zoning clearance is only applicable to uses allowed at the specified address based on the current zoning. That's a statement about the zoning. Okay? It does not address building code, fire code, and similar regulations that may affect the intended use of the property. And in bold print it says, you are advised to discuss your project with building division and fire prevention staff prior to occupying the site. No matter what the rest of this says, that's in bold up at the top. This form is intended to tell you the zoning is right. It doesn't tell you you can occupy at all. Never has, doesn't intend to. Now, the rest of this is filled out. Apparently, and I don't know who the people are in this, so I'm not being personal here, said they were going to have a commercial entertainment and music venue, and it'll be subject to noise standards, and zoning ordinance, fire building code requirements regarding occupancy, also review of signage by whatever. There is no zoning permit required. There is none. It is the right zone district. But the fact that there's no zoning permit required, it doesn't say on here anywhere that there are no other permits required, because you have to comply with the fire and building code requirements. Okay? So we've set it up here and we've set it down here. Anytime any business, regardless of the age of the applicant that is involved, anytime a business license is taken out in town, you send them to get the zoning concordance. Does not confer a right to use. However, because there are other codes that affect this, we have fire codes, and I'll get a fire guy here to address those. We have building codes, planning codes. I have someone here to address that. There are lots of other codes. They're not designed to keep people out of business. They're designed to make sure you're safe in business. In this process, we made a mistake. And since it's his department that made the mistake, I'm going to let him tell you what it was. And this is our planning director, Jim Hamilton. Jim?
Thanks, Ken. Actually, you know, officially, I don't think there were any mistakes made. I don't think there were any mistakes that were made on the part of the city.